Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To Madam Nik Madiha binti Nik Muhammad Munir, we are from Group A. Will present based on case study 1. The question about Malaysia GDP to moderate to 4.2% in 2023, ongoing external risk. My group member are Nur Ishira binti Izzahar, Muhammad Fakrul Ilmi binti Gani, Siti Farah Nabila binti Cik Hanafi, Nur Ashikin binti Mustafa, Wan Muhammad Syawal bin Wan Uthman, Muhammad Haikal bin Zubair. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wan Muhammad Syawal bin Wan Uthman. My matric number is A23A2385. I will present about case study 1 based on question 1, which is briefly explain the importance of calculating national income with the example. Calculating national income is crucial for assessing a country's economic performance. It helps the government and policymakers make informed decisions on economic planning, taxation, and welfare distribution. For example, if Malaysia GDP is growing steadily, the government can implement policy to maintain momentum by investing in infrastructure or incentivizing business. Conversely, if GDP declines, they might introduce stimulus package to encourage spending and investment. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you to the previous presenter. My name is Siti Farah Nabila binti Syed Hanafi. My matric number is A23A1649. Now I'm continue to present the next point. Calculating national income help the government identify weak area in the economy. By analyzing which sector contribute less to the gross domestic product (GDP), policymakers can spot where improvement is needed. For example, if a sector like agriculture is contributing very little to Malaysian 2023 GDP, this shows it may be undeveloped and or struggling. The kind of information helps the government make smart decisions. To improve weak sector, the government can offer subsidies, launch training program, or invest in modernization. This action can boost productivity and support long-term growth. In short, national income data act like a report card for the economy. It helps leaders to take action to fix weaknesses and create a more balanced and strong economy. That's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Fakrul Ilmi bin Gani. My message number is A23A1877. So I will continue the presentation based on the case study 1, question 2. Importance of economic sector in supporting economic growth. Firstly is well-developed infrastructure, which is efficient infrastructure like roads, port and communication network facilitates the movement of goods, people and information. This lowers the cost of doing business and increase productivity, helping both local and international trade to flourish. Secondly is substantial natural resources. Resources such as oil, gas, palm oil and minerals generate export income and support domestic industries. They act as a financial buffer and help sustain growth even when other sectors face global challenges. And lastly is competitive manufacturing and services sectors. A strong manufacturing sector boosts export, create jobs and attract foreign investment. Similarly, a competitive service sector, which is including finance, tourism and aid. The service This services the economy and adds stability during global uncertainties. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Aika bin Zubir, number matric A23A1790. Today, I continue presentation about how the government can solve economic problem. Firstly, monetary policy adjustment through Bank Negara Malaysia BNM. The government can continue to carefully manage interest rates. This helps to control inflation while still supporting economic activity. Second, diversifying trade partners and sector. Expanding into new market and promoting innovation in sectors like green technology and digital service can reduce reliance on valid global market. Lastly, support for cost of living. To ease the burden for high living costs, the government can implement subsidy for essential goods, increase social assistance program, or raise the minimum wage to boost household spending power. Okay, thank you.
Thank you to the previous presenter. My name is Nur Ashigin binti Mustafa with metric number A23A2202. I'm going to explain one of the limitations of gross domestic product measurement. First point is GDP does not measure income inequality. It explains that a country with a high GDP, like $1 trillion, might seem wealthy. However, if most of that income, say 19%, goes to only a small portion of the population, like 10%, then the majority of people could still be living in poverty. This shows that GDP measures total economic output but does not show how that wealth is distributed among the population, which is a limitation of using GDP as the sole indicator of a country's economic health. The second point will be presented by Inshira.
Hi, my name is Nur Inshira Meti Izaha, and I will continue the second limitations of GDP measurement. The second point is GDP ignores non-market activities, which means it does not account for productive work that is unpaid, such as residents raising their own food, caring for their children at home, or volunteering. Although these activities contribute significantly to a community's well-being and economy, they are not included in GDP calculations because no monetary transaction occurs. As a result, GDP understands overall economic activity by neglecting unpaid labor and informal economic contributions. That's all from me and our group. Thank you.